Well, hello everybody. This is a video for section 2-2 for Algebra 2. You should have in front of you, your piece of paper should say 2-2 study guide, and it should say day 2 examples for you. What I'll do is I'll go over those examples there for you. It's a longer, tougher day, so hang with me. But what all did you miss? I answered questions from section 2-1, of course. You did miss a homework quiz, so let's get in and get that made up ASAP. And then I need to review with you, and I'm going to treat it like review, how to graph lines, and I got to review with you standard form. Once again, guys, you've seen these from your Algebra 1 days. Do you remember them will be the other part. I don't know if Mr. Dreyer reviewed them with you last year or not. So hang with me. Look at your class example then right there. And I wonder if I can get this out of the way for us. Okay, so if there's any questions, I would answer those for you. But here's what you should have. Linear relations and functions. A linear relation just means this. When you graph it, it would be a line. The truthful math definition is a linear equation has no operations other than addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So no division, unless it's like 1/2, 1/3. Multiplication of a variable by a constant. The variables may not be multiplied together or appear in a denominator. So what we'll do is we'll look through those first 9. We're just going to decide if it would be linear or not. That's almost the easiest way to look at it. So when you look at it, here's what I want to see. I want to see x to the first power. I need to see y to the first power if they're both in there. But I can't see anything like this. I can't see x divided by y. I can't see x times y. I can't see anything like that. So look at your number 1 real fast. I'm going to click through these first 9 pretty quick. State whether each function is a linear function. Write yes or no. Explain if it's not. So number 1, when you look at it, x is to the first, y is to the first. No variables are multiplied together or anything. So yes. When we graph this, it would be a line. If you look at number 2, it's going to be no. This would not be a line. The reason being, we're dividing by the y. Number 3, though, not trying to trick you, number 3 is a yes. And you say, well, wait a minute, we're dividing by 11. I know, but it's okay to divide by a number. You just can't divide by a letter. So that one's going to be okay. On to your number 4. I'll give you just a heartbeat to decide yes or no on that one. The answer to this one is yes. X is to the first, y is to the first. They're not multiplied together. You're not dividing by a letter. You are dividing by 6, but you can divide by a number. That's okay. Number 5 is also a yes. X is to the first, y is to the first. There's decimals involved, but that's okay. What do you think about number 6? The answer is no. The reason being, because we're dividing by the y. Number 7, the answer to this one is a no. The reason being is x is to the third power. Remember, for it to be linear, it's got to be to the first power. Number 8, what do you think? It's going to also be no. The reason being, we're dividing by a variable. We're dividing by x. Number 9, that's also no. The reason being, we got that y times the x. You can't put them together. We'll look at some of these graphs throughout the year, just not today, thank goodness. Hey, now your next little section here, guys, I'm going to treat this like review. Because I had some of you back in Algebra 1. I know we graphed the heck out of lines. Mr. Dreyer should have reviewed it. So I'm not going to take a lot of time on graphing when it's already in slope-intercept form for you. I'm going to say, do you remember? And hopefully the answer is yes. So number 10, do you remember how to graph y equal 2/3 x the fast, easy way? Since this thing's already solved for y for us, It's in the form that we like. It's in the form of y equal mx plus b. The number in front of the x is your slope, so the slope is 2/3, which means up 2, and to the right 3 in this case. The b value is your y-intercept. In this case, it's -4. So to graph it, I'm going to start down here at -4. My slope is 2/3, so I'm going to go up 2 and over 3 from the y-intercept. Some people mess it up because they want to go up 2 and over 3 from the origin. So we got those. Connect those dots. Since this is a line that goes on forever, put your arrows on it, and boom, you got it. So I'm going to treat these like review. Number 11, we got 2x plus y equal 5. You got to solve for y in this case. Easy steps. Step number 1, move the x, change the sign. Move the x and change the sign. So I've got y equal -2x plus 5. Step number 2, we don't need it in this case, but divide by the number with the y. In this case, that number's a 1, so we don't really have to do anything. But to graph it, my slope is -2. My b value is 5. I'm going to start up here at 5 on the y-axis. My slope's -2, which means down 2 and over 1, because there's an invisible 1 right there. I'm going to go down 2 and over 1, down 2 and over 1. Grab some type of straight edge. Put your arrows on there. Looks like I missed my arrows, but put your arrows on there, and then we got it. Now I want to click through this because putting things in standard form is going to take a little bit of time, guys. So here's your number 12. 3x plus 4y equal 12. We got to correctly solve this thing for y. So step number 1, just like a while ago, move the x, and then change the sign. So I've got 4y equal -3x plus 12. But y is not all by itself yet. I'm going to have to divide everything by 4. So here's what I have now. I've got y equal -3/4x plus 12 divided by 4 is 3. So there's what I'm graphing. My slope is going to be -3/4. My y-intercept is going to be 3. Start up here at 3 on the y-axis. I'm going to come down 3 and over 4. You could have also, since this is negative, you could have went up 3 if you could fit the grid. But since you did something positive, then you'd have to do something negative and come to the left. We'll connect those. We'll put arrows on there. And then we got it. So move the x, change the sign, then divide by whatever's with the y. That's going to be your steps. I've got 2 more of those, and then I'll move on real fast. So number 13, -2x minus 5y equal 15. I'm going to move the -2x to the other side, so I've got -5y equal +2x plus 15. +2x plus 15. So I slid that over and changed the sign. Now I'm going to divide everything by -5. So I've got y equal -2/5x minus 3, because +15 divided by -5 is -3. Also, guys, don't use your calculator on this. We want this as a fraction, not -0.4. Otherwise, you have to go exactly down 0.4 and then to the right 1. That's tough. My slope in this case, -2/5. My y-intercept, -3. So I'm going to start down here at negative 3. I'm going to go down 2 to take care of the negative. Now I got to do something positive. That would be over 5. I could have also went up 2 and to the left 5. The up took care of the positive. The left took care of the negative. If you would have went down and left, that would be 2 negatives, which makes a positive. Connect those dots, put your arrows, and then you got it. I've got one more coming your way, and then we'll switch gears to standard form, which will be a little tougher for you. Here's my number 14. X plus 4y equals 16. We need to solve this thing for y, so here goes. I've got 4y equal. I'm moving this x to the other side and changing the sign, so I got negative 1x plus 16. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So here's what I've got. I've got y equal negative 1/4 x plus 4. Negative 1/4 x plus 4. That means my slope is negative 1/4. Looks like my y-intercept starts at 4. To graph it, start up here at 4. My slope is negative 1/4, so my two choices, down 1 over 4, or up 1 over 4. And then lay your straight edge down, connect those, put your arrows on them, and then we got it. Okay? Hey, so that's graphing in the form of y equal mx plus b. I took the attitude that that should be reviewed for you. Now I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. We did this in Algebra 1 also, but I'm going to treat this like you haven't seen it for a long, long time, or you don't even remember it. So I'm going to slow down a little bit on this. Standard form of a line says the standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c. Ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, whose greatest common factor is 1, and a is greater than 0. Here's what all of that means in easier terms. X and y got to be on the left side. Left side of the equation. X has got to be first. And it also means that there's no fractions or decimals. And then last but not least, x has got to be positive. So here goes. The directions say write each equation in standard form. Identify A, B, and C. We're going to identify A, B, and C just on 15, 16, and 17. And then after that, we're just going to put them in standard form. So here's number 15. I got 2x equal 4y minus 1. I need to get x and y on the left. X has got to be first. So I'm going to move this 4y over here. Well, since it's positive over here, guess what it is on the left? Negative. So I've got 2x minus 4y equal negative 1. And then go through your rules real fast. Is x and y on the same side? Check mark. Is x positive? Yep. Are there any fractions or decimals? Nope. The only other thing we got to look for is if there's a number that goes into 2, 4, and 1, but there's not. So I'm going to say A in this case is 2, B in this case is negative 4, C in this case is negative 1. That's all there is to it. But always put your x first. Here's your number 16. I'm going to move this positive 2x over here. It's positive here, so it's negative here. So negative 2x plus 5y equal 3. This is almost standard form. There's no fractions, there's no decimals, x is first, but notice that x is negative, so you got to multiply everything in here by negative 1. So I've got positive 2x minus 5y equal negative 3. Now it's in standard form. where A is 2, B is negative 5, C is negative 3. So there's what we got so far. I'm just going to keep clicking through these. Number 16, I need to move this negative 5y over to the left. If it's negative on the right, on the left it's going to be positive. So I've got 3x plus 5y equal 2. In this case, we're done. X is first. There's no fractions. There's no decimals. X, the A is positive, so I'm going to say A is 3, B is 5, C is 2. And in class, I would pause and have them try a couple of these, but in the video, you're just kind of stuck with me. So here's my number 17. I got 18y equal 24x minus 9. First things first, let's get x and y on the same side. So moving that positive 24 over here, I've got negative 24x plus 18y equal negative 9. A couple of things going on here. X is definitely not positive, so I got to change the signs on everything, aka divide everything by negative 1. So I've got positive 24x minus 18y equal positive 9. And we're not done on this one. Hey, is there a number that goes into 24, 18, and 9? 2 doesn't, but 3 does. Since they have a common factor, I need to divide everything in here by 3. So I'm going to have 8x minus 6y equal 3. There's my final answer in standard form in this case. Now it's time to beef it up just a little bit. Number 18, there's a lot of different ways to hit this one. I can get the x and y on the same side first. But if I were to ask you what do you not like the most about number 18, I imagine you're going to say you don't like the fractions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply by some number that will get rid of all of those fractions. So look at your 4 and your 3 in the denominator. I need the greatest common factor. I need the least common multiple that goes into, that 4 goes into and 3 goes into. So I need the smallest number that you could divide 4 into and 3 into. So that number happens to be 12. Because I can go 12 divided by 4, and I can go 12 divided by 3. Now, I'm hoping you do this in your head. You can use your calculator, but I'd rather you not. Ask yourself this. 4 goes into 12 how many times? And the answer is 3. Take 3 times this 3, and you're going to get 9y. If you have to use your calculator, you're going to go 3 fraction key 4 times 12. So I got 9y equal 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8, so I got 8x plus 60. Now the fractions are gone. Now let's move the x to the other side. It's positive here, so let me move it over. So I've got negative 8x plus 9y equal 60. And then to bring it home, the a value's not positive, so let's make it positive. 8x minus 9y equal negative 60. And then you got it. I'll do another fraction one here in a second. Here's number 19. It's kind of an easier one. I need x and y on the same side, and then I need the constant on the other side, but I need the x first. So notice, guys, that x and y are already on the correct side, the left side, so I need to get rid of this 10. But I need to write the x first. So instead of 6y minus 8x, I'm going to write negative 8x plus 6y equal negative 10. That way I just flipped them because the x has got to be first. Now I need the x to be positive, So I've got 8x minus 6y equal 10. But notice that there's a number that goes into all of them. 2 goes into all of these, so I need to divide everything by 2. Ending answer, 4x minus 3y equal 5. So there it is in standard form. Little things along the way, if you would have noticed that there's a 2 in common and you had to switch that, you could have divided by a negative 2 if you saw that earlier and saved you a step. On the video, I'm not skipping any steps on you. Okay, now we're down to number 20. So keep hanging with me. I got 2/5 x plus 3y equal 10. I know what you don't like. You don't like that fraction. So my only denominator is a 5. So I'm going to multiply through by 5. If I do that, 5 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. So I've got 2x plus 3 times 5 is 15y equal 50. And in this case, we're done. There's no number that goes into them. The x is first. The a value is positive, so we're good to go. Looks like I got 2 more of these. I got x equal 4y minus 7. Move the 4y over, so I've got x minus 4y equal negative 7. Man, I wasn't trying to get soft on us, but we're done again. The x is first. The a value is positive. There's no fractions. There's no decimals. So, bam, we're done again. And then number 22. Let me move this x over. So I've got negative 3x plus 2y equals 6. The x, the a value, in front of the x there, the a value is negative. Let's make it positive. 3x minus 2y equal negative 6. There it is in standard form. I do have one more piece for you. I need to show you how to graph from standard form. It's really quick and it's really easy. So that part will be easy for you. Other part, guys, I got about 5-6 more minutes, so hang with me. Video is going to wind up being about 30 minutes is all. So look at your box on the very back side, if you would. It says, write each of the following in standard form, just like we did. And then find the x-intercept and the y-intercept of the graphs, and then graph it. So I'm going to give you 2 quick little rules. To find the y-intercept of any graph, you're going to let x equal 0. We're going to cover up the x and solve for y. So to find the y-intercept of any graph, let x equal 0 and solve the equation for y. To find the x-intercept of any graph, simply let y equal 0 and then solve for equation. I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a heartbeat. So look at your number 23. The directions want you to put it in standard form, find the x and y intercepts, and then graph it. So number 23, if you look at that thing's already in standard form. The x is first, the y is second, then it's equal to a number. The a value is positive, and there's nothing that goes into all of them. So here's what we're going to do. To find the y-intercept, look back on top of your sheet there. It says, to find the y-intercept, simply let x equal 0. So to find the y-intercept, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let y equal 0. I'm going to let x equal 0. Here's what that means for you. If I plug a 0 right up here for x, it's going to wipe this term out. You're left with 7y equal 14. Solve that thing for y. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Now let me see if I can find my eraser over here. That it? Good, it is. Now, to get your x-intercept, you're going to let y be 0. It seems backwards, doesn't it? Y-intercept, x becomes 0. X-intercept, y becomes 0. What does that mean? Come up here, plug in a 0 for y, which is going to wipe this whole term out. Now solve what you have left. 14 divided by 2 is 7. This method works on anything. We'll use it later in the year, guys, to graph something that looks like this. We can graph that. Well, I guess then it wouldn't be set equal to 0. But we'll use this same method later on in the year to graph. Hey, now just plot them. I'm going to go over 0, up 2. I'm going to plot the point 7, 0, so I'm going to go over 7, up 0. We'll use our straight edge. We'll connect those dots. We'll put arrows on them, and then we got it. So I got 2 more. So look at your number 24. I got negative 5y equal 10 minus x. We're going to put it in standard form first. So I'm going to move this negative x over here, and it becomes positive. So I've got x minus 5y equal 10. So it's in standard form, no fractions, no decimals. So to find the y-intercept, let x be 0. So plug a 0 right there for the x. Come up here and cover this term up. And then solve with what you got. 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. So there's one piece of it. And let me put my x back now. To find the x-intercept, I'm going to let y be 0. That means plug a 0 where there's a y. That means this piece is going to be hidden. And then look what you're left with. X equal 10. Plot your points. Go over 0, down 2. Go over 10, up 0. Connect your dots. Arrows. Then we got it. So standard form, I used to teach with the teacher just called this the cover-up method. For the y-intercept, cover up the x. For the x-intercept, cover up the y. And my last one, guys. We've got 1/2 x minus y equal 3. First off, let's put it in standard form. And just to beat you up, because we'll say slope-intercept form, standard form, just kind of get in your head. Standard form means ax plus by equals c. Once again, we don't like this fraction, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2. 2 goes into 2 1 times. 1 times 1 is 1. So I've got x minus 2y equal 6. X is first, y is second. There's no fractions. There's no decimals. My a value is positive. So this thing's in standard form. So on your y-intercept here, which one is 0? The x or the y? The x. So we're going to cover this guy up. I'm going to be left with negative 2y equals 6 then. When I solve that, 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. For the x-intercept, I'm going to let y be 0, which means plug a 0 right here, so the 2y becomes 0, so I'm just left with x equal 6. Plot them. I got the point 0, negative 3, over 0, down 3. On the x-intercept, over 6 and up none. Connect them, of course. Put your arrows on there, then we got it left. Okay. Hey, so guys, that was section 2-2. There's a lot of information there. Like I said, it should be review from algebra, but I know that was a long time ago. So good luck on your assignment. We'll homework quiz over this next time. So if you have any problems, see me in the morning or see me in seminar. Thanks.